Happy Tuesday, everybody. You are listening to WZNC LP Bethlehem, North Country Community Radio, 99.9 FM, and streaming online at nococommunityradio.org. I'm your host, Amanda McKeen, and you're listening to North of Normal. Every week, I sit down with someone who lives in or has a connection to the North Country, and I try to get to know the human being behind the roles and the titles. This isn't a promotional show. We don't discuss politics or religion, and the conversations are completely unscripted. I don't come in with a list of questions. I just come in with my curiosity. I listen, and we see where the conversation takes us. Guests are invited onto the show, often after someone else in the community recommends them to me. And I really love that part because over time, it has revealed this incredible web of people and relationships that make up life here in the North Country. Today, I am sitting down with Clare Brooks. Clare, thank you for being here with me today.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yes. And before, Clare, we get into your story, I want to share some of the amazing love and support that's been expressed on social media since it was announced yesterday that you were going to be on. Oh, gosh. And I know you've already seen these comments, but I really just think it was so powerful yesterday. I want to make sure we take a moment to celebrate that. All right, we've got Jesse Lanham says, yeah, baby. Isaac Vars says, Clare is a delight. Becky Colpitt says, Clare is a powerful and humble human being. I'm excited to hear whatever she shares. Wendy Witten says, Clare Brooks is an amazing woman. Lynn Griglovich says, yeah, Clare is the bomb diggity. Such a beautiful human who does so much good in our community. This is awesome. Mike Dickerman says, Clare is one of my favorite people on the planet. Glad she's going to be on your podcast. The Healthy Rhino says, this will be spectacular. Marcia Morganshaw says, Clare is wonderful. She and her staff do an amazing job at the store. Joan Bratt says, can't wait. Love Clare. Scott says, my friend and an amazing success story. Your parents would be proud. Love you, my friend. And it goes on and on. Oh, we also have this comment from someone named Claire who says, who says, doing this thing, nervous as heck, but fingers crossed I don't screw it up.
About right.
Yeah. Clare, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you could bring your mic a little bit closer. Yeah, you got it.
Sorry.
So, last week I had Ty Gagne on.
Yes.
And
awesome.
He is, you told me he's your most popular author at the store.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
I didn't do the exact sales analyses, but I feel fairly confident we sell more of his books than most anyone else's. Yeah.
Well, I remember telling you that he was going to be on the week before you, and you were like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. You know that imposter syndrome thing. Like,
I do know it.
Why do they want me to go on?
Yeah.
What do I have to say? And then these people doing these amazing things and have such cool stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, really fun to listen to him and kind of get a little bit more background beyond just the stories on the mountains.
It's true. And one of the things that, he mentioned was how he's not used to sharing his personal story publicly. And I think he touched on something that every single one of my guests experiences, and that is the courage that it takes to sit here where you're sitting, Clare, and be open and have a conversation that's completely unscripted, where, you're trusting me with the questions I'm going to ask you, and you're trusting yourself to share clearly what you want to say.
I'm trusting myself to filter. I am like the anxious, oversharing verbal diarrhea accident waiting to happen. So hiding in my little bookstore is safe.
Yeah.
And then, this is out of my comfort zone, but you've made me feel comfortable. So
good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying yes. It's a really big deal when people choose to do this, especially if you've never done it before, and most people haven't. So
no, no, I would imagine not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thank you again for being here. And Claire, I usually like to start by explaining to listeners how I met my guests, because usually it's by recommendations and happenstance, organic meeting people in the community. And I knew about you for a while. I even have a receipt from 2020 of buying Ty's books at the Little Village Toy and Book Shop. And I saw it the other day when I was getting his books out. And I was like, I was in there in 2020. I didn't know you until this year, 2026. And it's just like crazy to think about how we can be living parallel to each other and not ever interact, And it was at the point where I had Mike Dickerman on. I think it was in April or May that he came on. And his episode was super powerful. He shared a lot of vulnerable things. But one of the things that came as a result of that was him expressing appreciation for you, both on air and off air, and how much he appreciated your friendship. And it was at that point where I was like, I really want to get to know this woman that is such a solid rock for somebody like Mike. So I think I reached out. I don't remember how that all happened. Do you remember?
I feel like you Facebook messaged
me,
I think.
I did, yeah.
I think it was a Facebook message. And then I talked to Mike, and yeah.
You're like, Mike, is she okay?
I had listened to he's a dear friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We've gone through some roller coasters through the bookshop and stuff, and his family and mine. And we always share with each other, and it's nice. You have
both a personal and a professional relationship, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we ended up having coffee.
Yeah.
And that was quite a moment. That's how I always like to get to know my guests before they come on. I'll invite them for coffee and, get a chance to hear everyone's stories. And Claire, I mean, there was a lot of stuff that you shared. Like, first of all, you do have a very interesting and unique story about who you are and how you got here. And there was a lot of it I related to and appreciated.
There's some overlap.
Yeah. And I think that was the thing that really intrigued me, was like, hey, I don't know if everyone knows this, but it makes me appreciate you on a deeper level. And I bet you more people would find themselves relating to you from knowing it. Maybe.
I don't know. Everybody has their stuff, right?
They do.
Everybody has their stuff.
Everybody does have their stuff. So, one of the biggest differentiators with you would be what?
What do you mean? One of the biggest differentiators for me and the rest of the free world?
And yeah, that was a pretty vague question.
Oh my God, that's broad.
It was very broad. When we're looking here at Littleton or here in the North Country, what makes you stand out, do you think?
Oh, goodness. Well, it used to be that I was all tatted up.
Yeah.
But now everybody is.
Yeah.
It's not the 90s anymore. I mean, I'm an immigrant. So some people, I mean, that's a lot, there's a lot of people here from different places, but I'm not sure. I really don't know why.
I think that the immigrant thing is a big deal. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, like I moved here from South Africa
in
the 90s with my family. We moved to America.
Early 90s, mid or late?
Yeah, so 1991, 92.
Okay.
It was sort of a process to come to America.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it took a long time for my brother and my mother and I to actually be here. My father was here first. So
okay.
there's some some leaps there.
Hang on a second. Our recording is acting funky. All right. So thank you, listeners, for bearing with us. Sometimes we have malfunctions here. So you're from South Africa. At what age did you move here?
So 12 or 13, we started. My dad was headhunted for a job in America.
Okay.
And he was able to come over. He was sponsored, which was something that was done back then. I'm not sure all the legalities, but generally if they are having a hard time finding someone with a certain skill within the country and the company's willing to sponsor a person from outside of the country and, promise that they'll pay taxes and all these things and put up an amount of money, that person can come to America. So my dad came, and we had stayed in South Africa at first, but we ultimately moved to Ireland with my Nana because coming here legally there's a lot of steps that are involved. And so our home sold in South Africa before my mother and her children were allowed to come to the country.
Okay, so you needed somewhere to go.
Hang out with Nana in Ireland.
Wow.
And then we won the lottery, and the Irish lottery. So back in the day, I'm not sure if they still do it, the United States would do a lottery for visas for Irish citizens, and they would pull, I don't know why the number 30,000 is in my head. I hope I'm not completely off ball, but each year a certain number of people would get visas to come into America, Irish citizens. And I'm not sure what the draw was to pull Irish back then, but that's what they did, and we won. So we came. It was great.
Did you feel like you won?
Oh my gosh, I felt like we won. Are you kidding me? Coming to America? Yeah, it was like the dream. I can remember growing up in South Africa, and we would watch television shows, and I remember always wanting a pair of LA Gears. And I remember thinking that kids went to school in regular clothes and they didn't have to polish their shoes to a mirror shine. And, and they didn't have to wear a tie every day and wear uniforms. And I dreamt of coming to America my whole life. So, most people outside of the country do. But yeah, and then we got to come, and it was insane. Getting picked up at the airport by this fancy car from my dad's company and getting driven on these freeways that had so many lanes, and it was just overwhelming. I can actually feel the feeling in my chest of excitement and nervousness and anticipation, and the land of opportunity.
Wow. I don't know if I've met anyone that has expressed that to me before, so that's really cool to hear that perspective, because it's drenched in gratitude for being here,
Oh gosh, yeah.
I think so many of us probably take it for granted.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
But I definitely am pretty grateful most days.
Yeah. So when you moved to America, which state were you in?
We moved to Northern California. We lived outside of Napa Valley in Fairfield.
Okay.
And so between San Francisco and Sacramento.
Okay. What do you remember in the early days of kind of getting immersed in that culture?
Oh, awkwardness. I was very awkward. Everything was 10 years behind. So we had just come out with CDs, and they were just so expensive that nobody could really afford them. They're hundreds of rand. And so in America, you all had CDs for a while. And I can remember all my clothing was 10 years behind, and I was this gangly 5'10", skinny. I'd take that back. I'd go back to that a little bit, but just maybe a few pounds. The rest I'd leave behind forever.
Yeah. But
I was very awkward. Strong accent, didn't really fit in that great. So that wasn't, but at the same time, there's great stuff. I had, I can remember silly things. When we lived in South Africa, the closest thing to fast food was KFC. And it was a sit down restaurant. Mm-hmm. And we came here, and I can remember my mom taking us to McDonald's the first time. Oh my God, we were so sick. We were so sick. Because you eat food, right?
Yeah.
In South Africa?
Yeah.
And I don't know, but it grew on us. That's a funny moment to share. Sorry.
No.
Tangent City.
No. It's all kind of painting a picture of your perspective when you're, first being introduced to another culture like that. I mean, you had already seen. How long were you in Ireland when you were waiting?
I want to say, I'm very bad with time and dates. I want to say it was less than a year.
Okay.
I know it was less than a year. Because we were able to stay out of school.
Yeah.
And when we came to America, we were both put into grades that sort of somewhat coordinated with our age and supposed education that we were coming in from. It turned out I ended up moving up a grade. The level of education in South Africa was much higher. For white people, frankly. I grew up in South Africa during apartheid, so it was not equal. But the education, we went to public school in South Africa, and the level of education there was actually, and the discipline. So right back there, corporal punishment was normal. You go to school, kids get caned, they get writing out. It's not the same as in America where you get in trouble at school and you maybe have to go sit on a chair for 3 minutes or something. Like in other countries, they literally you get beat.
Were you beat?
I was not. Yes, many times, but not at school. For the most part, girls have like writing out. So I have like a callus permanently. But no, my brother.
Oh, like you have to write something over and over again?
Yeah, letter of the alphabet.
Oh my gosh.
I can remember staying up all night more than once writing out. I was naughty, writing out. But I mean, my brother once got caned. I think I want to say he forgot his hockey gear or he missed a hockey practice or something, and they cane you just for that. So the discipline you come into America with, and it's different. Like it's more military kind. And then my parents were Catholic, Irish, and British, so very sort of strict. My mom was a lady.
Yeah.
My dad was foul-mouthed, strict, hard-working dude.
Yeah.
So just very different.
Wow.
Lifestyle, way of being brought up.
Yeah. So you came to California and you felt out of place, but you must have been like, this is pretty sweet. I'm not going to get beat with a cane.
No, it was great. Oh gosh, it's a very nice country to live in for sure. There's so much but every place has its stuff, you know. But we went to school. I definitely had a hard time acclimating. We went to a Catholic school, which was par for the course. My mother was raised in a 2-street village in Ireland, and with her 12+ siblings, and Catholicism was just the way. And
the only way.
Yeah. So we still had a strict school system that we went into.
Yeah.
I didn't quite make it through that school system all the way. I did graduate high school, but I ended up graduating from a different high school. I had some hard times in high school, made some tough choices, ran away from home, hitchhiked through 11 states.
Wait.
Yeah, silliness.
Wait.
I know.
Can we talk about that?
Maybe minimally.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was like 15, and I think, you can say, oh, I did this because of this, and everything's because of my hard childhood, and I made some bad choices.
Yeah.
Did I have some rough stuff happen to me when I was a kid? Yeah, like there was a lot of sexual abuse growing up. There was definitely a lot of hardcore stuff in my childhood that has permanently affected me and changed me. But it wasn't a reason. It wasn't an excuse. It's not, I just... when we moved to America, I didn't fit in. I went the path of least resistance and fit in with maybe not the best crowd at first, and then just kind of from there made bad choices.
Yeah.
Ended up, like I said, running away, jumping freight trains, working at carnivals, just silliness. Again, when I was 15, so thank the Lord that's over.
That's quite adventurous for a 15-year-old.
Yeah, I wouldn't live through it now. I can't believe I lived through it, actually. But I did come home, and I got some help, and my family supported me, and got my stuff together, worked my butt off, and 30 years, 30-something years, 32 years later, I don't do silly things like that anymore.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Well, good.
But yeah, lucky to have lived through some of the silliness.
What would you, if yourself now were to meet yourself at 15, what would you tell her?
Oh, Lord.
What do you think she needed? What do you think she needed to be told or shown?
Goodness.
That's a hard question.
I think I still need some of the things I would have told her she should go get, but slow down, think about it. Don't just do things. That frontal lobe development, that's no joke.
Oh, yeah.
Because the thought process now of what were you thinking? And, you watch the movies and it's the stuff of movies, A lot of this stuff is this, and you're like, how did I even live through that? You're so lucky.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, keep going, because it's okay. You can get through anything if you're willing to work hard and focus and, all those anxieties and, PTSD and all these things that happen once you go through certain types of experiences in your life. Mm-hmm. They can either become the reason, I think, that you implode, which I did, and thank goodness at a very young age where it didn't have permanent effects on my future that devastated my potential and removed the chances that I could have had.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. I have another question for you. You talked about kind of coming back and recovering from all of those bad decisions and how your family helped you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, they did their best.
I mean, there must have been a level of, forgiveness. Oh, hang on a second. I
got a note at the window that says, Claire, move closer to the microphone. Somebody's out there.
It's Barbara Emmons. Barbara, you are such a superstar.
She's a good buddy, too.
Okay.
So I'm closer to the microphone, Barbara. Thank you. Yeah, so
that
long story long, I would have told myself, keep going, because there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And remember that your issues can become your superpower. And if you can just figure out how to hone, my anxiety drives me. It's the only reason I've been able to build anything in life. So I wouldn't want to get rid of the things that pushed me to making some bad choices in life.
Is interesting.
I would try to teach myself that it doesn't always have to mean bad for you.
Yeah.
Just because something's hard for you, you can find a tool to do it differently and use it and make it your superpower. That's so dorky.
Not at all. That's incredibly profound, and I feel like I need to hear that multiple times a day.
That and the Serenity Prayer, it'll get you through.
Oh, that was funny. I think that was the first time I've ever had someone come to the window with a sign while we're on air. I'm totally going to harass Barb. I love Barb. That was so amazing.
I loved her episode too.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes. All right. So you made some bad decisions when you were 15.
Oh, yes. Don't we all?
Yeah. Only when you were 15.
Oh, God. I wish.
And we need to figure out, so what I'm trying to connect the dots for, and especially for our listeners, is how the heck did you end up here?
I know.
It's crazy.
I think of that myself. So just in case, I lie in bed frequently and go, how did I end up here? How am I so lucky, And I say lucky all the time, but I get it. I worked hard, but I am so lucky. So how did I end up here? So I lived in California. We lived in California. Went to school, graduated, went to school a couple more times, did a few things, ended up moving to Hawaii. I did a lot of retail. I did a lot of retail management jobs along the way. Work ethic was kind of beaten into us as children. So we have pretty good work ethic. So when I was in my mid-20s, I want to say I was 24, I'd had a kind of a bigger job and ultimately ended up leaving that job and moving to Hawaii on a whim. I just went for a weekend and decided that I was going to go back and pack up my stuff and go move there.
Yeah.
So I did that. And while I was there, I did some great hermiting, living in the woods.
Hermiting.
I went to...
There's woods in Hawaii?
Well, okay, let's say banana patch. So the rainforest, I guess you would call it. So Haiku is where I lived, which is...
Haiku is the name of a town?
It is, yes.
That's amazing.
Little town. I lived in Haiku and Kula, which is upcountry Maui, up on the top of the mountain. So that's where you can actually have a fire at night and get a little chilly.
Yeah.
But, so I lived there. I went to college there, got a degree in business with an emphasis in accounting and marketing. I was working as an apprentice custom woodworker there while I went to school, doing custom kitchen cabinets and stair treads and risers.
That makes a lot of sense for
totally,
what you were studying.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a jack of all half trades.
Yeah.
A little bit about a lot of things. So then what else? So then I met a guy and ultimately had a baby there in Hawaii with said gentleman. And he was from Littleton, New Hampshire.
Oh.
Yes. So while we were together there, I would work at the wood shop in the daytime, or I opened a business. That's right. Claire's Caring Cleaning Services. That was, yes, I used to clean for a lot of wealthy people. And then at night, I went around and I sold Cutco knives.
You were a knife lady?
I was
like the knife guys, like Will Ferrell and Ryan Gosling?
I literally went on referrals and would go and sit in people's homes and demonstrate these sharpest knives ever that just last a lifetime. I'm like a little sales rep 25 years later still.
Wow.
Cutco. I still use my knives actually. So I usually don't sell things I don't believe in. And if I do, I tell you right away that's China.
Wait, you still sell them?
I still use mine.
Oh.
No, I still use mine. And I've had them since I was 25, 26,
Whoa.
and I'm 47. And I still use them. And I mail them in and they sharpen them for free for life.
Just a reminder to our listeners, we are not promoting
these knives. But if you are Claire's a mom that's trying really hard to work 16 jobs and have a kid, it's a good one to make money at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I met some great people through that. Actually, one of my best friends today is from sitting in her kitchen and selling knives.
Oh,
in
wow.
Maui. So I did all that, and we were married there. We had our eldest there, Harper, and who's now about to be 18.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so lucky. And then his dad had brought me here to Lancaster, actually, to where his family lived, and was like, hey, this is where I've grown up,
just to visit.
Okay. This would be a great place for us to raise kids. It's a lot more affordable. I mean, the selling points were there. I was told that it's not, quote unquote, that cold.
Really?
Yes.
Compared to Hawaii.
Yes. Minus 36 is that cold. Actually, it's a little beyond by 72 degrees.
Yeah, you must have been shocked.
Yeah, no, it's actually quite painful for me here in the wintertime, but that's okay. But I mean, I've lived in warm places my whole life, but that's not a big deal. So he had said that we should move here, and I remember him saying, "Oh, there's this bookstore. You're going to love it. You'll work at this bookstore. It's great." And
what was his connection with the bookstore?
So there was a bookstore in Littleton for 40-something years called the Village Bookstore, and it's famous, and it was awesome. And it was created by several people, two of whom recently passed away. Ned Densmore, Rusty, his real name's Leon, Kathy Lovett. And anywho's, and a whole bunch of amazing people that spent 20 odd years, 30 odd years working there in the establishment. But lots of people know the Village Bookstore and can remember being raised in it and playing with the toys in it and finding their first books in it and, winning a bookmark contest and lots of cool community stuff. And I'm an avid reader and always have been. My mom inspired us to read when we were little. She didn't have really an education, and so she read and read and read and learned everything she needed to learn to be able to have conversations with some really, really smart people. My dad had a photographic memory, and so the people in business that he associated with were kind of on a higher level of intellect than I am by far. But my mother was able to host these people for dinners, and just from educating herself through just reading. And so ultimately, when we moved here partially to get Harper better health care because he had been bored with severe reflux disease, and we had been flying to Oahu for treatment and things like that. And ultimately there was a GI here at Dartmouth that we came to see. So we moved here in 2010. Wow, 16 years ago. And we actually moved to Littleton. And after many applications, I finally got hired as the bookkeeper of the Village Bookstore. Oh my gosh, I harassed Jeff, the old owner, the most recent owner, who I actually worked for. And eventually I got the job. But in the meantime, I was everybody's bookkeeper. I worked at the Garland Mill over in Lancaster. I did, those would be good guys to interview. I worked at H&R Block. And I did bookkeeping for someone in California, bookkeeping for other people here. And then I got hired on at what was that Village Bookstore, which I worked at till 2014.
And what was your role at the time?
I did bookkeeping for them.
Oh, so you weren't on the floor?
No, I mean, I worked retail in my younger years until my early 20s, but no, I was just the bookkeeper.
Okay. Behind the scenes.
That's where I met Mike, because he used to sell books to the old Village Bookstore. He was a big part of that as well. And he was probably the biggest supporter of me when I decided, I was going to try to keep it going in a smaller, or so I thought, version. It was smaller when I started it.
Let's talk about that. So you worked there until, you said 2014?
Yes.
As the bookkeeper?
Yeah.
Then what happened?
2014. So 2014. By this time, I have my second baby, whose name's Grayson, he's 14.
Wow.
I'm a dork, but I really love my babies. I really love my babies. So we had Grayson in 2012. And in 2013, I was so excited. I qualified for a $90,000 home loan.
Yes,
I
Claire.
know. I was like, I am going to buy a house in America. This is... People probably can't even imagine the look on my face right now, but I'm like a giddy little dork. So here I am making my $15 an hour. And I'm like, someday I need to buy a house in America. I had purchased a house in South Africa, and I brought the money over as the down payment, actually, for this house that I ultimately found. So I found this house in Lancaster in 2013 that had been foreclosed for 2 years, and it was not in great shape.
Yeah.
I got it for $101,000, so whatever.
Wow.
So I still live in that house, but so we lived in that house from 2013. It was June, and then in December we found out that my mom wasn't doing well. Well, I say my mom wasn't doing well. She had emphysema for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So, and my parents had brought us to America in the hopes that we would have all these opportunities and everything else. So once I graduated high school, they left and retired to Ireland. And it was shortly thereafter that my father passed away, right after my 21st birthday. And then my mother stayed, which was great because she was from that village. She lived in the house right next door to my Nana's house that she was raised in. So she had all of her sisters and family to support her and care for her, which they did amazingly. That people, I mean, it's just so different how they care for their elders. If they're in home, I should say. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but I left in January of 2014 because my mom was not well. And so I left the kids and their dad and my work, and I stayed with her. I came home once before she passed, but I stayed with her mostly January through the beginning of March when she passed away.
Oh, that was quick.
It was fairly quick. She had gone with headaches in December, and they had found a bunch of brain tumors, and there was nothing that could be done at that point. So they had told us that she had 6 to 8 weeks or whatever, and so it did go, sadly, very quickly. But I was able to be there right up until the end and be one of her primary caregivers. And, it's different in Ireland. So in Ireland, people often pass at home and, you take care of bathing them and preparing them. And I carried her out and placed her in her coffin, and they take them away, and then they bring them back, and they stage them, either open or closed casket in the home. And then family comes and visits and whatnot. And then you leave, or I left, and I came home. And during that time, I knew that the Village Bookstore where I worked wasn't doing well. I was the bookkeeper. There had been a lot of things that had gone on, business and personal-wise, for the prior owner. Had suffered some major losses and things, and his wife, and it was just sad. But unfortunately, when I came back, it was clear that he was going to turn everything over and hand everything in. And so we were trying to short sale the building just to salvage whatever was possible for him before the bank kind of took everything over. But unfortunately, which actually we got that done. Amshika Alberini bought the building.
Okay.
And so one of the things that was important was that she needed the place rented out. And so she had planned to subdivide the top into 3 portions. Yep. And she was going to do, I was going to take the right-hand side, the right top third. And so that was one of the ways that it all worked out, is that I knew I was going to have this spot. And so April Fool's Day of 2014 was the day that I believe the bank actually sort of took the keys, and they began the auctioning process of getting rid of everything.
Okay.
And they seized the building and everything else. And
do you remember what the community's reaction was around that time?
Everyone was horrified. It was so sad. It was so sad. Having a bookstore in the community close to children. I mean, libraries are so crucial and vital resources, but their funding is so limited. And, having a community bookstore, an indie bookstore in an area, and this is kind of more of a region because there's not one in every town. It's just so important, and people were crying. I mean, people came. I can remember helping the auctioneer people in kind of exchange for getting first dibs on buying the bookshelves and things like that. And being able to sort of help some of those customers the days that they were buying those last books off the shelves and picking up the thousands of CDs that Jay had curated that were sitting out in boxes for free at the end. And people were sad. It was a huge loss. And I was sad because I wanted my kids to have a bookstore to grow up in and to be able to read, freely. But so it was a crazy time.
So that happened around the same time that your mom passed? Was that the same year?
It was, so she died the first week of March and we closed April 1st.
Yeah.
So, it was one thing after another.
Oh, man, that's
But
brutal.
that's Murphy's Law. My life is Murphy's Law. And you just got to laugh and cry and go through it. But, yeah, so I remember I had borrowed money. God, I hope I'm not outing him here, but I had borrowed money from one of my bookkeeping clients, the Southworth family, for my airline ticket, my second return airline ticket to my mom, because it was winter and my husband at the time did masonry, so it was a slow season for us. And I wasn't working. I was supposed to be working, but I was back and forth to Ireland. And so we literally were like cash poor. It was super. So I don't know. I remember I had talked to my mom about the impending demise, what looked like was going to be happening. And then I remember coming home and it becoming more of a reality, and Jeff saying this is what we were doing, and we shared it with the team. And I spoke with my coworker then, Stacy, about like, if I do this, like, will you be the book person? Because I can't do all of this. And she was all in. And so I went home. I had a dream. My mom was my dream. I'm such a dork. But yeah, I just woke up and was like, yeah, I'm doing this. And at the time, Gary was very supportive, my ex-husband, of the idea. I mean, this was like his community bookstore that he remembered growing up in. So although our marriage had been on the rocks for a long time, like, he was very supportive. And so immediately started helping ripping up carpets and everything else as soon as the transition was made and she could put up the walls. And so I would say we opened on Friday the 13th in June. So it was April, May, June. So it was 2 months and 2 weeks from the day of closure. I borrowed $50,000 from someone who would prefer to stay anonymous. Okay. But from a lovely human that should have had no reason to still have faith in the concept, but somehow she did, and she lent me $50,000, and I started the bookstore with $50,000, and I paid her back Thanksgiving, like Black Friday. I think I gave her
the same year.
Yeah, it's like everything went so fast. It was so fast. It was so fast.
Okay, so my first question is, like, where do you have to go mentally to ask somebody for that amount of money?
Oh my God.
Like, how did you have the courage to do that?
I can't. So here's a horrible thing. I have this stupid COVID. I got that horrible COVID in 2019, and I don't remember a lot of things, but I can't remember the exact conversation, and I can't remember if it was started with a pure ask or if it was just the conversation with this person, like, I think I'm going to do this, and these are the reasons why I felt like it wasn't going to work. And my mom had just died, and at the time I was aware that there was a $100,000 life insurance policy that my brother and I would share, and so I guaranteed that even if I couldn't make the business work, that she would take that money from me, which ended up taking years to actually
get it.
Yeah, that all takes a really long time, it turns out. But luckily we were able to earn the money. And I've been one where I'm reinvesting in the business, obviously. Like, all it's done is grow. So I'm not taking the money all out of the business. So as soon as I pay everything off in full early, I'm not into carrying debt for it. I'm very nervy about any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't recall how it worked out. But I know it was an amazing thing that she did, and it would never have happened without that help. And without just everybody's support, the community, everybody was so glad that someone, I mean, I'm so lucky to have ridden the coattails, essentially, of those that came before me, because I certainly didn't build this from scratch, although it, burned and I built it back up again. But it definitely... the history carries it. People come here that have been coming here still for 50 plus years. Yeah. And I try to honor that memory with them. And it's kind of huge. It's cool. I'm very lucky. And I have these awesome humans working with me. Like, it's a mishmash of just awesome, cool, random people that no matter who you are, if you come in, you can find someone that you're comfortable working with, because they're all so different. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I don't know if I answered your question now.
You did.
I went on a tangent.
No, I think it's good what you shared. Thank you. I can imagine the amount of pressure you must have felt when you first took that on. Not only are you trying to make this thing work, but you've now got a debt to repay, and not just the monetary part, but the part of, like, continuing to provide something to the community that they dearly loved and wanted to stay the same. Oh yeah. So there's like there's pressure there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I've seen that with other businesses here.
Yeah, no,
where they get taken over and then they change, and it's hard.
Yeah. Yes, it is like the weight of 1 million bucks.
That's funny.
On your back. No, it's crazy because you don't think about it when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think about how important it was going to be when I was doing it. And then you start to see, people making comments like, oh, it's just a kid's shop. So when we first opened it, I took all the things that mathematically made sense that I knew I could turn and create something that myself and 1.5 other humans, so me, one full-timer and a part-timer, could live on or build from to live on.
Yeah.
And ultimately that meant there was no more music. We didn't actually carry very many adult books at all. There was one little curated section by Mike of local interest and, airport kiosk, top 5 hit style, and everything else was children's toys, educational toys, and children's books. Because my goal was make sure that kids still have books in their hands. Because the adults are choosing to go online a lot and everything else. But there was still a huge want for paper books in the North Country. But I couldn't afford to give it all to everybody that first week. I had $50,000 and no companies wanted to do business with me because there was debt from the same address. Now, different business, different owner, but the same contact as the accounts payable was. And so I imagine they're like, no, you're lying. I'm like, no, I swear to goodness.
Like, you just changed your name.
New business. You just don't want to pay your bills. So everything was on credit, I remember. But, oh goodness, where were we?
We were just talking about like the pressure of keeping things the same.
And people would make a lot of comments about it's a glorified daycare. I miss the old bookstore. And I got that. And so we made a pledge, like, if you special order your books with us, whatever you order, we'll get one for you and one for the shelf. And I did that for several years. Stacy did that for several years. And then she slowly but surely built up and curated an adult book section while managing the children's book section. I mean, over the years, we've added people. We now have like 5 book buyers. There's 12 people in total.
Nice.
So thankfully, she doesn't have to do it all.
Yeah.
But she built that for the community based on what the community showed they wanted.
Yeah.
And so it took a long time. Every few years, we knocked down a few more walls and expanded. Now we have no more walls to knock down.
Okay.
So we stack things to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now we have like more of a proper bookshop. But yes, the weight of people's judgments and constant, I try to take it as encouragement. Like, this is what they really want. And I want to provide what people want because that's what's going to sell and make it so I can feed my children.
Yeah.
And stay in America. And that's the goal. So, like, be able to pay my way, pay my taxes, stay in America, and work hard and have this opportunity. And now it's like a platform to do other good things that we can be part of. But at a minimum, I just wanted to build that back up. And I have received some kudos from the original OG people that started the original Village Bookstore. They've been very kind about, like, sort of saying that they feel like their original dream was kind of honored, and
good. So
they do seem to feel like I've done as best I can. I've done their vision justice, and I hope it seems that's what the community feedback always is. Like, people are so kind, and so I've been lucky. But when you come into something, I can't imagine like doing it any differently,
Yeah. What do you like? How does it make you feel to look back on your life and understand how things connected for you to be here and for the bookstore to be here through you?
I really think everything. Everything totally does happen for a reason. It just does. Like, there's so many random little events, and some of them you think are like the worst thing of your life and the hardest thing of your life. and you move through it and you come out the other side and you realize, oh wow, this is exactly what was supposed to happen so that this could happen and that could happen, and you just gotta breathe. Sometimes it's not easy. Like a lot of times it's not easy. I get overwhelmed, and the bookstore now, I've been doing it. I've been in the shop 16 years and it's been mine for 12, and I don't know. I think there's got to be a reason that you go this far around the world and end up in a random spot on a map that's just so disconnected. I mean, in this whole country, I have my brother in California. I have a cousin that lives in Massachusetts, but literally, like, that's it on the whole continent. Yeah. Oh, my children. I'm related to my children. Yep. But literally, I've been divorced. Actually, I became single the day I opened the bookstore, Friday the 13th.
No way.
Yeah, totes. It was a good 3 months.
You lost so much stuff. I was going to say everything, but you didn't lose everything.
No, I had my home.
Yeah, and you had your kids.
And I had my kids, and I had...
And you clearly had
this
the community.
Opportunity to, like, build this bookstore, and now that bookstore supports me and my children and I. Okay, Mom, I heard the grammar correction all the way from heaven. Hard stuff, happens, but all for the best. Like, I'm very happily divorced, but I'm lucky. My kids and I are lucky. Yeah. And doesn't mean it's always easy.
No, but I love your story. I love how it from the outside, it looks random, but I am like you. I believe it's for a reason. I believe that you were meant for here.
And every person that's come into the bookshop, everyone that's ever worked there, like, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And I still feel those reasons every day.
Yeah. Yeah. When you, like, we're just looking back, when you look forward and there's all this unknown, like, what's your feeling towards that?
That back to that beginning when you said, hey, what would you say to your 14-year-old self or whatever?
Yeah.
I said, there's things I'd still want to try to figure out. I think I live in, like, fight or flight. I think I have since I was a little kid. And I've never really figured out how to pull that off and not feel like I'm in fight or flight. So I'm always just kind of planning for the worst, hoping for the best. So as I look forward, like, I just have high hopes. I see my kids doing well. They're fairly healthy. They have their stuff. One's going into adulthood like an awesome human. And, when you get to the point where your kids get to be adults and you're like, wow, is this, and you look at them and go, wow, like, that's an awesome human. I am so lucky. And that's like what you hope for when they're little. And then, and my youngest, I'm like, you're an awesome human. So I see all this brightness for that. I see the bookstore continuing to be a place for community and resource and just fun, and I love it. I hope I never have to do a different job ever. I just want to work there forever. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff to be worried about, and my body is going to worry and react to that whether I like it or not. And I just have to try to make good choices along the way so that I don't get sucked in too deep into anything icky, and try to be positive. Yeah. The economy can be a little scary, but I think just always trying to make sure I'm thinking a minimum of 5 years ahead and trying to plan for that and build for that, but also enjoy a little bit of today. And that's where I get a lot of it's very challenging for me because I'm always so busy kind of like planning for the next and how can I do better? How can I make this better for them? How can I keep everyone happy all of the time? Which I know is a never-ending failure, but at least to have it as that goal of, is there something I can change to make this better for you? And it doesn't matter if it's work or home or the fix it. I'm the fixer.
Yeah, I get that too. So what are you doing to find enjoyment here and now for yourself?
Well, like I told you in our previous conversations, because the bookstore had no credit, I used a mileage credit card to buy everything, and I've just paid it off in full every month. And I encourage every human to get a mileage credit card or a cashback credit card on their 18th birthday and pay it off in full every month.
As long as you can pay it off in full.
Don't pay interest. Yes. Do not pay interest. And then you take those miles, as I have been doing, and you go on at least one holiday every year. I'm so excited. So I just took my kids to Mexico for like $137 in taxes and fees.
What?
Yeah, dude. So if you just save your miles. So I go on holiday. I've been going on holiday with my kids once a year, and that's been huge. And then 2 years ago, I think I started doing this thing where I took a weekend away by myself to just read by a body of water. And because I need water, like my rhythm, something like warmth and water is good for my body. Like, but it has to be warm water, so it's challenging up here. They tend to fly away. But yeah, last night I had terrible anxiety, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go on this radio show. I'm so nervous. Oh my gosh. And I'm so grateful. I have this above ground pool that I put in for the kids and I a few years ago. And it was been so hot. So I was like, oh yeah, I mowed my lawn and I floated in my pool with my Frida McFadden book and my iced tea. And I literally just floated and I watched bats flying around.
Yeah.
Because I have this family of bats that's been there forever. And trees and the sky. And I just kind of tried to just relax. And I need to do more for self-care. I haven't figured out what that is. But breathing helps. Box breathing helps.
Yeah, totally.
But my piece is being in the woods or the rainforest or the ocean and just kind of trying to breathe.
Yeah, and just noticing what's around you.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like you're thinking something.
No, I literally will lay there and just pinch myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I really this lucky? Do I have these trees and this and it sounds so silly because people always laugh at me, but I'm like, it's that kind of stuff that I get excited. I'm like, it's these little things.
Oh yeah.
I get really excited.
No, I can relate to that. Like sometimes I feel like when I express my joy or gratitude for something really simple that sometimes you're around people that don't think that way, and so the fact that they don't think that way can make you feel like you're being childish, but it's not that way at all.
Yeah, being giddy is a lot of times associated with childishness. Yeah. I'm so lucky to be around kids at the bookstore because they don't really care. They're just like, you just like threw a toy at me. And I'm like, dude, it's a toy store. This is fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, whatever. It's okay.
But I think that's important to tap back into that.
Yeah.
Don't lose that inner child.
No, I still love to build my Legos. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah?
Yeah, actually, building Legos, that is something.
Do you have Legos?
Oh my goodness, yes. Mostly my son has Legos because we build them together or he builds them, but I build a lot of them and during different times in life when, we'd be stuck home for whatever health issue.
Yeah.
We'd build Legos, and they're all on display at the bookstore, actually, most of them. But no,
I'm going to have to come look at them.
My eldest's room is chock-a-block full of Legos.
That's awesome. I love Legos, too. Claire, we have 2 minutes left.
Whoa, are you kidding? It's almost over. That's great, because now I can breathe.
We're still live.
Oh.
No, but you've absolutely crushed it today. Like,
really?
You really did such a great job explaining how you got here, and I think that's such a incredible story, and I'm so excited for people to hear it, and I know they're going to hear it because Barbara came and
I can't believe it.
reminded you to sit closer to your mic. So
yeah, I hope I didn't ruin your recording.
I hope it didn't ruin on its own because it's been fickle lately. So.
It's okay.
Yeah, it is okay. But, I just so appreciate you sharing today and being real and genuine and being open, Like you said so many times that you referred to yourself as silly or dork.
Oh, I'm terrible about.
And I don't think that that's true at all. Not to argue with you, but I really don't think that any of the things you said today meant that you were silly or a dork. And I bet you have a lot of people that would agree with me.
Thank you.
So, anything that you want to share that you don't feel like you got to say before we wrap up? I like to give my guests that opportunity.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I have fully and thoroughly overshared. I mean, there's a book in each chapter, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
But yeah, I hope I didn't overshare any of the wrong stuff.
I guess we'll find out afterwards, right?
Oh, Lord. And anyone who knows me knows that it was quite a feat for me to have perfect language for a whole hour.
Yes.
So that I'm proud of myself. That was one of my biggest nerves, that I would slip up and say something inappropriate.
Yeah.
Because I was raised in a very sweary household. My father was a big swearer. So yeah, I'm just going to hang on to that and feel like it's a win all around.
Big win.
Didn't do super offensive language.
Well done.
Thanks.
All right, listeners, thank you for being here and listening to North of Normal on WZNC LP Bethlehem, North Country Community Radio, 99.9 FM, and streaming online at nococommunityradio.org. Claire, thank you for spending this hour with me and for letting us get to know you a little better. And thank you to everyone listening. One of the things that I love most about this show is that every week we get an excuse to slow down and become curious about another person. Someone that we may know, someone that we may recognize around town, or someone that we may never have crossed paths with otherwise. If you enjoyed today's conversation, there are more than 40 past episodes waiting for you at clearviewadvantage.com/podcast. And you can also find me on Spotify. If there's someone whose story you think I should know, I'd love to hear about them. Guest recommendations, feedback, stories, or even just a hello can always be sent to me at amanda@clearviewadvantage.com. Thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting local radio. I'm Amanda McKeen. I'll see you back here next Tuesday. Until then, stay grounded, stay curious, and stay a little north of normal.